Hi everyone. I'm going to review the SHARDOR coffee bean grinder. I purchased it a few months ago. Been using it regularly to grind coffee beans for espresso and for pour over. That's primarily what I do. My wife makes cappuccinos. We use a different bean than what I'm going to demonstrate today. It's a little bit lighter roast because it's an espresso. I like really dark roasted, full-bodied coffee, and that's kind of an issue with coffee grinders, depending on whether they are able to cook it or not. So first, let me show you the machine. Here's the power on buttons, the timers, where you adjust your settings. As you can see, espresso, pour over, drip. Turns really easy. It's not a problem there. I've had some that it's difficult to adjust for some reason. Everything I buy is usually very highly rated. I don't like messing around with uh, cheap stuff. Anyway, this lid, you can close it over and keep your coffee in there, I guess, after you grind it. I don't really use that. It's kind of annoyance with this thing. It's getting bent over now after use. I keep my ground coffee in the can. Uh, it was an old Illy can that I keep using. Anyway, you insert this, make sure it's nice and snug, and you power it on. So you get your initial setting. You can adjust that setting up by seconds or down. All right, so I usually do about 24 seconds because as it grinds, particularly on whatever setting you have, pour over grinds it a little bit larger, it'll fill up faster. Espresso, of course, grinds it a little finer, it fills up slower, so you can increase the settings. You just get used to doing that. So since I'm doing pour over, um, I'm going to go ahead and move it to right to the 24 setting. The beautiful thing about this machine is that it grinds really well, probably better than any machine I've had. If I want espresso, it's giving me that fine grind. If I want pour over, it's a little bit medium. It really adjusts. This setting, this whoever designed this did a great job of implementing incremental adjustment. I don't know why the others can't do it, but this one is the best that I've had, and I've had a bunch. And they usually burn out because of the beans that I use, and you'll see that in a minute. So I'm gonna just remove the lid. This this will not take a full can of beans. It's too much. And I'm gonna demonstrate what I mean by that. So okay. So there's my bean. Look at that, beautiful. See the sheen on that? It's a little bit of oil that's from the bean itself after the roasting. See how dark that bean is? This is delicious. Absolutely delicious. Uh, Max's blend. Anyway, the machines, the beans will get caught in the container here because the oil, it makes them stick to the sides. So if they can make this out of this material or whatever, design it different, it would be better. That would make this machine 5 stars. But let's see what happens when I start to grind. So almost a full can. So Almost a full can is right to the top. Now, put the lid on. I'm going to go ahead and grind it, and let's see what happens. Okay, listen. That last portion of high spinning, that's free spinning, meaning it's not grinding anything. So the beans get stuck. Now, if you use a really light roast where the oils don't come out of the bean, um, that's not for me. That's whatever. It should probably work fine. It'll drop through. But mine grab. So for people like me who really like deep, strong coffee, seems to always be an issue. So you end up having to, while it's grinding, right? If I push it, see it's free spinning. So then now you can hear it. There it goes again. Okay, so there you go. I have to shake it. So that's one of the issues. Pull it out. Just take the lid off. And this is for a pour over. And I'm going to put this on the lid and then dump the rest in. Beautiful, beautiful pour over grind. Look at that. That is perfect. So I'll add that to what I had left. And that should be enough for my cup of coffee. So overall, I love this machine because it's small, it's light. The grinding is absolutely perfect. If I was to set this to espresso, it would definitely get stuck because of the powder, more of a powder residue that will stick in there and get stuck. It's easy to clean. I actually clean it with the air compressor. I just blow in the orifices and get out everything, and it works. It cleans fairly easily. Wasn't too expensive. I really think if you want control of your grind and to get to experiment with different grinds, that you get this thing. It's really good in that sense. But it does overheat. That's the other thing, is I've gotten errors where I looked it up and it's because it overheated. And that's, of course, grinding here or doing an espresso grind. My wife and I, we love cappuccinos, and I've got to regulate how many beans I grind at a time for the espresso. Anyway, that's my review, and I will recommend it, but just be wary of what I talked about as far as if you use really super dark, oily roasts like I like, what I call real man coffee, then you might have to do a little shaking. If that doesn't bother you, then get this machine.
Okay, so this is the hopper, and this is where it goes into. I see why some people said it wasn't quite big enough, but I still think that's enough for a full 12 cup. I know some people like it really strong. And I don't make big cups anyways, it's just for me. The hopper is huge, so at least it'll hold a ton of beans. And then this is where you can control how big or small. I think that the smallest is still pretty coarse, because I like it coarse since I'm just doing normal coffee maker. And then you control the amount by just the time, and it'll save the last one that you did. So when I hit the button by accident just now, it turned it on, and all I'll have to do is hit start, which I'll do. There'll be a noise. Okay, and then just to show, it is actually pretty darn clean. In fact, I think that what you're seeing was there before. I'd have to check. Of the other ones that I've used, this one does not put out much. I'd say that the static effect is pretty good. It doesn't even like collect around the top. And that is, should get to focus, the coarseness. So overall, pretty happy with the purchase. I do wish that these were clear rather than tinted, so that you can kind of see when it's getting dirty. And then the only other downfall is, and this could just be a wonky product, is that the lid on this one doesn't, it's like slightly warped. So it'll stay on if I push down on it good enough, but it kind of doesn't want to stay on completely. And this doesn't like slide into anything that secures it. It just sits there, which I thought was going to be a problem, but it's not at all. Like I showed you, it doesn't really put out much debris anywhere. Overall, pretty happy with it. Decent size, like it's just on the brink of being too big, but I think because it's slender, it's nice. It just fits right in.
Seconds. You can try a little more. More. This. Okay. Let's do 20.
I need to say what a game changer this has been. My husband and I like different amounts of coffee. Turn this on. We know what number grind he likes, what number grind I like, how many seconds each of us likes. And I will tell you, I've been using this thing now for weeks. And it really doesn't, I mean, there's no static in here, which is amazing because it's still plastic. But there's really no static. I am obsessed